The surface of Mars has long kept secrets beneath its rust-red dust, but nothing could have prepared scientists for what NASA's rover discovered during its latest expedition. In a quiet crater that was previously considered an unremarkable geological feature, the rover made a chilling discovery that could turn everything we thought we knew about Mars, and perhaps even the universe itself, upside down. The discovery was not accompanied by fanfare, but revealed itself gradually as data began to arrive from millions of miles away on Earth. And when the meaning of this data became clear, even the most experienced researchers were stunned. This was not just a new rock or traces of ancient water flows. It was something much deeper and more disturbing. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with new updates. The Mars rover, which was crossing a region known as the Palace of Aeolus, conducted a series of subsurface scans using ground-penetrating radar. This technology allows us to look beneath the Martian soil and identify hidden layers and anomalies deep below the surface. During one such scan, near the edge of an eroded cliff, the radar detected a perfectly geometric structure with flawless symmetry. Unlike natural rock formations, which are usually irregular in shape and subject to erosion, this anomaly showed signs of intentional design. Sharp angles, uniform spacing, and a rectangular frame all pointed to something artificial, something built. Further investigation revealed that this structure was not isolated. Beneath the Martian soil, the rover discovered an entire network of interconnected tunnels and chambers, organized according to a strict architectural logic. The layout was too complex and orderly to be the result of natural processes. At first, scientists suggested that these could be the remains of a previous robotic mission or an unknown geological process characteristic of Mars, but no human record could explain the scale and precision of the discovery. And when the rover's instruments began to detect anomalous magnetic fields emanating from certain nodes in the network, the mission took on a completely different tone. Analysis showed that the magnetic pulses fluctuated in a specific sequence, repeating patterns similar to a signal. They were not random. They followed a mathematical progression, namely the Fibonacci sequence, a ratio often found in living systems and ancient architecture on Earth. The conclusion was staggering. If this was indeed a signal, then the structure was not only artificial, but also functional, or at least it had once been. Someone had built it with a specific purpose in mind. The tunnels themselves showed signs of wear and tear that were not characteristic of a static structure. Smooth grooves on the floor, discoloration from unknown chemical residues, and temperature anomalies hinted at previous activity, movement, energy, possibly even habitation. The idea of a Martian civilization has always been considered the stuff of science fiction, fueled by myths and misinterpretations of telescopic data. But here it was, physical, undeniable proof that Mars once harbored not just water or microbial life, but intelligence. Intelligence capable of design, engineering, and mathematics. What made the discovery even more disturbing was the depth at which the structures were found. The geological layers above them indicated that they had been underground for millions, possibly hundreds of millions of years. This means that they were much older than the emergence of human civilization on Earth. Questions arose that no one was prepared to answer. Who built them? Where did they go? Are they still alive somewhere else? And perhaps most disturbing of all, why were these structures sealed beneath the surface? Adding to the mystery was chemical data from one of the deepest cameras. The rover discovered traces of organic compounds, complex hydrocarbons never before found on Mars. These compounds were strikingly similar to those found in extremophile microbes on Earth, capable of surviving in the harshest conditions. It became possible that not only did intelligent life once exist on Mars, but that something biological could still be preserved in these underground spaces. It would not be the life we know. It is impossible to survive on the surface of Mars due to radiation and cold. But life adapted to darkness and protected by the Martian crust is entirely possible. As more data came in, it became clear that the chambers were not just dwellings or storage facilities. In several places, there were devices, structures made of metal alloys unknown on Earth, connected to mineral composites found only in Martian soil. These devices were inactive for now, but their design pointed to machines, levers, conductors, something like chains. If they could be activated, the knowledge they contained could go beyond human understanding. The machines did not resemble any technology created by humans, nor were they like the crude tools of primitive life. They were advanced, alien, purposeful. One of the most frightening moments came when the rover entered the central chamber, where a bas-relief was carved into a pillar of dark basalt-like rock. These were not letters or symbols in any language known to humankind, but patterns that again referred to mathematical ratios, spirals, geometric mosaics, and in the center, a shape resembling an eye. Not an organic eye, but a stylized one, perhaps an emblem of observation, awareness, or control. The moment the rover's cameras captured the image, frantic activity began on Earth. Scientists, linguists, cryptographers, and even psychologists were called in. The implications were terrifying. If this structure was an archive or a communication hub, who or what was it connected to? Speculation ran rampant, but the data kept coming in. Radiation patterns around the central camera showed rhythmic pulsations, a cycle unrelated to Martian days or solar activity. Some researchers suggested that it could be a countdown or synchronization with orbital alignment. The idea that this machine might still be active in some hidden mode frightened many. If it was a beacon, who was it calling? If it was a safe, what did it contain? Questions multiplied faster than answers could be found. Adding to the tension was a low-frequency hum recorded by the rover, barely audible to the human ear. It was not a mechanical noise or a geological sound. It was a tone, almost musical. Spectrograms showed harmonics corresponding to the golden ratio, which again emphasized the intentionality of every element of this complex. The hum was barely audible, but constant. If something had been dormant for millions of years, why was it still humming? This discovery reformatted the perception of Mars not as a dead planet, but as a place of ancient history and forgotten power. The red planet, long considered Earth's lifeless sister, now seemed more like a graveyard of potential or a silent guardian holding secrets that could either elevate or destroy humanity. The psychological effect was enormous. If we are not alone in our minds, what responsibility do we have to uncover this history? Would further exploration be an act of enlightenment or sacrilege? One of the most disturbing observations was not what the rover saw, but what it did not see. In several cameras, there were clear imprints in the dust and sediment, shapes that indicated that large, complex objects had once been there. Machines? Biological creatures? The shapes were too vague to interpret, but their absence was palpable. Something had been removed, something big. The thought that parts of this system had been moved, recently or long ago, sent a chill down the spine. Where had these components gone? Had they been taken by ancient builders or someone else? The nature of the materials in the structure prompted a new wave of urgent research. Metallurgical analysis revealed elements and configurations that could not be created with modern technology. Atomic structures showed deliberate manipulation at the subatomic level, hinting at materials beyond our wildest scientific predictions. This was not just ancient technology. It was so advanced that it challenged our current understanding. Its creators had either overcome the limitations of physics or circumvented them. This discovery was not only inspiring, but also deeply frightening. Despite its incredible successes, the rover's capabilities were insufficient. Its instruments, although advanced, were not designed for discoveries of this magnitude. Scientists began calling for urgent follow-up missions, manned or at least autonomous with greater capabilities. But time was passing. If the signals or hums were cycles, those cycles could have consequences. What the rover discovered on Mars was not just buried ruins, but a revelation that broke down the barrier between science and myth, between the known and the incomprehensible. It turned Mars into a place of questions deeper than any humanity had ever faced before. Not just, is there life on Mars? But, what kind of life is it? Not, can we live on Mars? But should we? This frightening new discovery has changed more than just our understanding of the planet. It has opened the safe of space history and shown that this history is much longer, stranger, and darker than we ever imagined. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think about NASA's terrifying new discovery on Mars. We value your opinion. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.